It's no secret that Spanish Town has been one of Jamaica's hottest spots when it comes to crime. But according to a popular member of the city's clergy, the city's annual event known as the 10,000 Men and Family Movement has brought a dramatic change to the crime numbers in the old capital. The clergyman we're talking about is no other than Bishop Edwards, father of Jermaine Edwards. You know him, he's a big gospel artist, we all know. Pastor, welcome, sir.
It's a pleasure to be with you, sir.
So good to have you.
I must tell you, you're a popular man in Jamaica, you know.
Oh, I am?
My son Jermaine has high regards for you, man.
Great. Thanks.
He speaks highly of you.
We had a great interview recently.
Yes.
All right, so sir, the movement, you now call it, it used to be...
Well, we started out with a 1,000 men march.
Yes.
1,000 men. And when we started it 13 years ago, we got in trouble because the women who were around us said that's unfair, because how we started the march was to bring voices together against crime and violence. So the women are saying, we started to say, it's not just men alone that crime is affecting. Why should you just have men marching against it? You should have men and family. So we changed it to 10,000 men and family. Mm-hmm. But then we developed quite a lot of other things that deals with our program. And now it's 10,000 men and families movement.
Families movement. And it's been around for...
Well, we had the 13 stages. The 13th staging...
recently?
Just in March, the first week, second week in March. That's when we had...
So all right. So the numbers have changed as it relates to crime.
Oh, yes.
In the city. And you are ascribing some of the credits to this
to the movement, and not just the 10,000 Men and Family movement, but we work together with the churches in Spanish Town. The Spanish Town Ministers Fraternal worked greatly with us to have this achievement. The National Integrity Action, Trevor Monroe, and the Jamaica Boilers, they all come together, and this is a program in Spanish Town that they have supported. The Member of Parliament, all of them, came on board because they have seen, even the Prime Minister was there last year, because they have seen the impact of what we do. Thousands of people come together on a yearly basis just to send a voice against the negative trend of violence that is taking place. Yes. And we have seen a tremendous turnaround in St. Catherine North, because Spanish Town is actually in St. Catherine North. And they are extremely happy to see what we've been doing. Well, what some of the things we do is not just march. We have trained men in mentoring, along with the National Integrity Action. Totaling 450 men so far have been trained in mentoring, because Spanish Town in itself, the University of the West Indies is saying that there are roughly 70%, the 70% of homes in Spanish Town are without fathers. So we figured that is generating the whole aspect of crime, because if boys don't have father to mentor them, then they're going to be in problem. At the same time, the Ministry of Education is saying that 40% of their boys are being suspended from school on a yearly basis. Whoa. So the 10,000 Men and Family movement stepped in there and decided to train men. And we're still going on with that program to ensure that we train men to mentor other men. Because I was grown up without a father. My father died when I was 6 months in my mother's womb. And he died from a gunshot right on Hagley Park Road. And I realized what was happening. In my life, I didn't have a father to teach me anything. I didn't have a father to hug me. I've never known a father's love. And at the same time, in my community, I've seen so many children going astray because there's no father in the home. So I decided that, well, you know, I want to work with this program. So that's one of the main reasons why we started the 10,000 Men movement, because we really want to reach out to homes that are without fathers and see if we could help men to help men who are without fathers. You see, what we have discovered also, if the schools are suspending these boys, they are sending them to the gangs. So our movement, actually intercept boys who the schools are suspending, and we're saying to them, send them to us. We will help to guide these boys. So we've just built a brand new studio in Spanish Town, by the way, where we're teaching the boys, music, because the aim is to bring out other Germans that are out there. Boys that are out there that are not educationally inclined, that they don't want to books. We want to give them something that they would like.
Okay.
Because that's a problem that we find, that many people are pushing people into things, boys and girls into things that they don't like. Find out what they want and help them to get where they want to go.
Okay, so that's great.
Yes.
But let's talk about the numbers.
Yes.
What were they in terms of the crime stats?
2016.
When you started?
When we started.
Yes.
2016, it was 149. 2017, it went down to 137.
149
yes.
per annum.
And then it went down to 137.
Yes.
And then 2018, it went down to 98. And then 2019, it went down to 72. So it is our aim. We put, if you notice the graph that I sent you, we put a big question sign.
Yes.
Because the aim of the 10,000 Men movement, along with the Spanish Town Ministers Fraternal, the National Integrity Action, and all the other stakeholders who have been helping us. And I want to thank all the business people in Spanish Town, because last month, when we bring the Father of the Year out, when we brought out the men whom we have trained, when we brought out the schools, the various schools and young boys and girls who have achieved well, we saw one student, 19 subjects out of Taws Pen, who's now becoming a lawyer. We have seen Tony Ann, who is the Spelling Bee Champion of the Year. We honored the school, the Macaulay Primary, which brought forth 14 students and mastering the Spelling Bee Champion. So the 10,000 Men March, the theme for this year is we use what is right to change what is wrong.
So those are some of the measurement some of the things that you use to link the numbers coming down.
Yeah, because you see, there's so many good things happening in Spanish Town.
Yes.
Good people live there. There's no question about that. The percentage of the persons who are doing wrong in Spanish Town is about 1% of bad people.
Yeah.
So we cannot allow the 1% to kill the 99%. So we raise a program to help the 99% to raise their voices against the negative trend. And so we're using that yardstick to measure the whole thing, to say, hey, if this program wasn't around, we don't know what would have happened to Spanish. As a matter of fact, the Minister of Security, two of them, the one that was in the previous government and this one, they laud the program, and they're saying that they would like to have it replicated right across Jamaica. We've gone through 5 parishes already.
Okay.
And the aim, it's the largest gathering of people. When you see 15, 20,000 people coming out, I don't know if you have the clip I sent you.
Yeah, man. We've seen the crowds.
Yes.
Yes.
This year we have the gospel artists came together, and they did a song where Paul Blake, he did that song, and we did it over to send a message that we need peace in Jamaica.
Yes.
And so the gospel artists, they came on board to march this year against the crime and violence.
How tough is it to turn around a young man from crime to subscribe to the values of the church, of the society, and to be a better man?
Well, you see, the society in itself, as I said, there's so many boys. So the amount of gangs that is in school, that are in school right now, is dangerous. The only thing that we can say is God. There's nothing that I can do to change a man's heart, except to tell them that God is able, that God can do it. We go into the prisons, and we saw what's happening. The 10,000 Men March movement, go into the prisons. We saw what's happening in the prisons. You have a man in prison, and you have him locked up for 20 years. Have him locked up in prison for 20 years doesn't change him,
So
what changes when his heart is changed?
God, the gospel,
Yes.
is your most important.
We preach the gospel of Jesus Christ.
Your most important tool that you're using to change them?
To change the heart. You can feed a person, you know, but that don't change them. It's the love of God that reaches them and cause them to be transformed. We just have a matter of fact, not just men, girls.
So they are Christianized, the change men? Are they?
Some of them have turned into Christianity and some of them have changed their life, though they have not been baptized as baptized. But
Yes.
we have conferences, we have various things that help these men to understand that they can be better fathers, you know, that they can change their role in life.
Okay.
And so that is our aim.
And music is a big part of your program, isn't it?
Well, that's it.
Because you're a musician.
And I thank God for the gospel artists who come on a yearly basis and they use their strength to pull the people too. We have 7 marching bands every year moving from different locations. And Fred, you could see those guys, hundreds of young people lining the streets. The Ministry of Education, they got out all the uniform groups last year. And you could see thousands of these young boys on the street, you know, and it's something that is so exciting to see how young men can be drawn to this kind of movement. So next year, we're hoping to push it into Portmore and other places to ensure that we send the message out. We use what is right to change what is wrong.
I want to thank you so much
Yes,
for
sir.
coming and sharing this with us.
Thank you, sir.
It's indeed, as you said to me when you made a request to come on our show,
Yes, sir.
that you want to bring good news to the nation.
Yes,
and
sir.
I
And
totally
we're
agree.
declaring that there's hope.
And oh yes.
There's hope for Jamaica. If we can change Spanish Town, we believe that anywhere else in Jamaica can be changed. And that's why we're working so hard to change the old capital. We're saying to the Prime Minister, sir, fix our national stadium. The only place we have there is the Prison Oval. It looks bad. To see the only sports complex in
Oh, yes.
Spanish Town is so weird.
Yes.
And the Prime Minister is from Jamaica, from Spanish Town. We want him to really do something because, you see, if the guys in Spanish Town look and see a transformed Spanish Town,
Yes, I
will be
believe that
transformed
that
too.
will make
Yes,
a big
but
difference.
nothing has been happening to the old capital.
That's
it's
true.
Just,
I totally
it's just
agree.
there.
Yeah. Say no more. I think that, I think the Prime Minister will answer
Yes, he
you
has to attend to
in the
it.
affirmative, sir.
Just fix the city. Bring it where it ought to be and watch Jamaica transform. And again, I thank God for all the pastors in the community. National Integrity Action, Trevor Monroe. He's the man behind all of this, along with Jamaica Brawlers. These men and women, they really support this. And I give God thanks that the work that Trevor Monroe has been doing through National Integrity Action is paying off because crime is on the downward spiral. And we give God thanks, sir.
We give you thanks, sir, for sharing that with us.
Yes.
And to implore you to continue doing what you're doing.
Yes, sir. Thanks very
And
much.
you're doing this for all of us.
Thank you, sir.
It's not just for you and the church.
And we thank you for the job you're doing here.
It's all of us.
Yes, sir, on stage. And we pray that God will allow you to come by one of the programs that we put on.
Oh,
of
for
course,
sure.
the men in Spanish Town and anywhere else we go, certainly be happy to see you, sir.
I'm sure I'll be there. All right, sir.
Yes.
There you have him, Bishop Edwards, right here on our stage, bringing us great news in these trying times.
Good news in the bad times.
Oh, yes.